Welcome to this video from the General Teaching Council for Scotland. The purpose of this video is to share some important information with you that will help you to prepare for your induction into the teaching profession. My name is Asif Chishti. I'm a Teaching Standards Education Officer at GTC Scotland. We have split this video into sections so that you can decide how and when you want to watch. We have also included some useful links to our website in the description of this video. In this video, we will cover the role of GTC Scotland, paths to full registration, dual registration, steps to complete, how to complete your ITE profile, your journey through the flexible route, and this section is specifically for those of you who are going to follow the flexible route, Teacher Induction Scheme, Allocation and Journey, and this section is specifically for those of you who are going to take part in TIS, and finally, Induction and Beyond. Trusted Teaching. GTC Scotland was set up in 1965. It was created following calls from teachers for a body to ensure teaching standards, and we were one of the first teaching councils in the world. For us, qualification is fundamental to being a teacher. In 2012, we became fully independent of government. All of our core work is funded through teachers' registration fees. In law, all teachers in Scotland must be registered with us. The General Teaching Council for Scotland is the independent regulator for teachers. We work in the public interest to enhance trust in teachers by setting, upholding and promoting high standards. We deliver our vision of trusted teaching by accrediting programmes of initial teacher education and setting minimum standards for entry to them, setting standards of competence and conduct, assessing suitability to join the profession, keeping the register of teachers, investigating serious concerns about teachers, and encouraging teachers to use aspirational standards. We use the insights from our work to speak up for high standards and to improve the quality of teaching and learning in Scotland. Teaching standards are what describe professionalism in the teaching profession. We have a suite of these, and there are two which are relevant to you, which we want to highlight as you prepare for induction. The Code of Professionalism and Conduct, COPAC. As a provisionally registered teacher, COPAC will apply to you. COPAC is a tool that supports teachers by providing key principles and values to follow when faced with any challenges or concerns. These can occur both within and out with the professional context. You should use it during supportive conversations with colleagues. Whilst primarily a supportive tool, a serious breach or a series of minor breaches of COPAC could lead to action which may result in an adverse fitness to teach finding. GTC Scotland has a duty to regulate teachers in the public interest, and in so doing is accountable to the public and the profession for maintaining standards and ensuring that teachers are fit to teach. Public trust in the teaching profession and the protection of learners and their educational well-being sit at the heart of our work. You must read COPAC, reflect on it, and understand how it applies to you. The Standard for Full Registration, or the SFR. As a provisionally registered teacher, It is the standard for full registration which will be your central focus. It is the standard that you will be working towards achieving by the end of your induction period. On our website, you can find a range of resources to help you track and evidence how you are meeting the SFR. For example, a self-evaluation wheel. It is important that you set aside time to read the standard. Paths to full registration. If you have qualified in Scotland, there are two routes to becoming a fully registered teacher. The Teacher Induction Scheme, or TIS, and the flexible route. Both paths lead towards full registration as a teacher and are focused on provisionally registered teachers meeting the standard for full registration. We also encourage fully registered teachers to use the other three aspirational standards, or the one most relevant to them, to support and enhance their professionalism. Those are the standard for career-long professional learning, the standard for middle leadership, and the standard for headship. The Teacher Induction Scheme, or TIS. TIS is a Scottish Government scheme which guarantees a one-year induction placement in a local authority. GTC Scotland is contracted by Scottish Government to administer some aspects of TIS. Those of you participating in TIS have selected 5 local authorities in the order of where you would hope to be placed. Remember that by entering TIS, you have signed up to accepting a placement in any of those 5 local authorities. Alternatively, you may have chosen the preference waiver payment option, where you can be placed anywhere in Scotland, and this is highly likely to be in a rural area. A small number of students are sponsored by a local authority. You will know if this applies to you, and you will be returning to the local authority that has sponsored you. You will have supplied us with details of this local authority as your first preference only. It is important to point out at this stage that if you decide to withdraw from the Teacher Induction Scheme, you cannot be placed back on it, and you must follow the flexible route. Please be certain that you have alternative arrangements for your induction before requesting removal from the Teacher Induction Scheme. If you wish to withdraw from TIS, you should inform the local authority you have been allocated, and you must email us at gtcs@gtcs.org.uk. The flexible route. The flexible route offers the benefit of being able to work part-time and to look for vacancies within local authorities and independent schools close to where you live. On the flexible route, teachers themselves are responsible for finding their own employment. You have the same minimum and maximum time periods in which to achieve the standard for full registration as compared to TIS. You can find out more about TIS and the flexible route on our website. Dual registration. If you have been studying 2 subjects in ITE, you will be doing your induction in both, unless you or your HEI have advised us otherwise. You can only be considered for dual subject induction if both subjects have been part of your studies. If you have another subject that meets the criteria for registration, but which was not part of your initial teacher education, you can apply for additional registration once you have gained full registration through your induction period. Steps to complete as soon as possible. Now that you have submitted your application for provisional registration, There are some steps that you need to take to be admitted to the register, without which you cannot work in a school in Scotland. Firstly, make sure you have completed your PVG application. As the independent regulator for teachers, we have a safeguarding role, and we cannot admit anyone to the register who has not successfully gained membership of the PVG scheme. Please keep in mind that this PVG check is above and beyond any check you had done for entry into your ITE programme, and is in addition to any existing PVG you may have for other roles. The vast majority of you completed this step when you first applied for provisional registration. If your PVG application is outstanding, this is now urgent. Without a PVG check, you cannot start your induction in August. Secondly, welcome meeting and induction dates for each local authority will come to you directly from them when you receive your allocation. Please ensure that you check the dates before booking any summer holidays. These sessions are important to attend so that you're able to meet new colleagues and hear about the year ahead, as well as asking any questions that you have. Please complete your ITE profile, which is available for you now, and check that your personal details are up to date by logging back into the student portal where you completed your application. You will need to familiarise yourself again with this area, as it is also where you will find out the details of your allocation if you're participating in TIS, and where you will pay your annual registration fee. We will be in touch when it is time to do that. If you are having difficulties logging into your student portal, you should email gtcs@gtcs.org.uk. Finally, once you have done all of this, you will be given access to a MyGTCS account. When signing up for MyGTCS, please update your personal information, including your employer and local authority details. At this point, it is better to enter a personal email address because your student email address may expire. Starting your ITE profile. Between now and June, you should start to complete your ITE profile. This document will form the basis of your first development plan as you start your induction. Take time to consider and compile this document, because you will use it to discuss starting points with your school supporter as you start your induction. Here is how to upload your ITE profile. Step 1. Log into the student portal and using the drop-down arrow under your name, select ITE profile. Step 2. Complete the initial information on the profile homepage. This includes your programme, your tutor's name, and your higher education institution. Step 3. Strengths. Now reflect on your experiences and learning as a student of initial teacher education. Choose at least one strength for each area of the standard for provisional registration. What have you shone at? Where do your strengths lie? This self-evaluation and reflection is important in building a foundation for a career-long cycle of evaluating your professional practice. Step 4. Development needs. Here, you need to look at the standard for full registration. For each area of the SFR, identify a development need that you have. You can find a copy of the SFR and of coaching wheels on our website, and these will help you to identify your areas for development. Step 5 is to submit to your tutor. Your higher education institution will set the deadlines for submission. For further support, there's an easy access guide in the student teacher area of the website. Your ITE profile will transfer across to MyGTCS over the summer break, so it will be ready for you to consider as you start your induction. Your journey through the flexible route. This part of the video is specifically for those of you who will be following the flexible route for induction. If you have applied for a place on the Teacher Induction Scheme, you can skip to the next chapter. When you have passed your ITE programme and paid your annual registration fee in the summer, we will give you access to MyGTCS. This is where you will record your progress as you work toward the standard for full registration, which is what you should use to guide all of your induction activity. You will be responsible for keeping your profile up to date, because this is an important way in which you will evidence that you have achieved the standard for full registration. What you will record on MyGTCS. You can create teaching blocks within MyGTCS for each period of teaching that you do, regardless of which school this is in. These teaching blocks can vary in length and may be in different schools. Within your provisional registration profile, you will record learning activity entries, professional discussions, for example with a supporter, observations, key strengths, areas for development, and development plans. Progress reports. At the end of a teaching block, you can submit a request for a progress report. This is when the reviewer, the head teacher, can recommend that you are making satisfactory progress towards the standard for full registration. They may also note if there is a cause for concern or that your progress is unsatisfactory. Recommendation. At the point when you feel that you have sufficient evidence to demonstrate that you have achieved the standard for full registration, you can then request that a reviewer recommends you for full registration. This needs to be done after completing the equivalent of a school year's teaching service, approximately 190 days, and you have up to 3 years to be recommended for full registration. When you request a recommendation for full registration, the reviewer may indicate that they need more time or more information before making a recommendation. They may recommend full registration, or they may determine that you have not yet sufficiently evidenced that you meet the standard for full registration. Informing employers. It is vital that you tell the head teacher of your school and the local authority probation manager that you have an induction period to complete. They may be able to help you to access relevant support, put in place professional learning for you, and help arrange for necessary observations to be completed. Further information. By the nature of the flexible route, the process followed is different for each individual. As well as the support of your employer, you can find information on our website, including ways to complete induction through the flexible route, finding employment on the flexible route, professional learning, advice on engaging with professional reading, how to record your teaching service, the flexible route support network, and frequently asked questions. The next 2 chapters of this video are specifically about the Teacher Induction Scheme. If you are not participating in TIS, you can skip to the last chapter of the video. Allocation on the Teacher Induction Scheme. This section of the video is relevant to ITE students who have signed up to the Teacher Induction Scheme. In June, we will email asking you to log in to the student portal. This is where details of your allocated local authority will appear. So, please take a moment now to check that your personal contact details are up to date, including a personal email address rather than your student one. Remember that you will lose access to your student email address, so you won't receive our emails unless you change to a personal email address. Receiving your local authority allocation is an exciting time. When you receive your allocation, take some time to stop and think. Do not contact your allocated local authority. They will contact you. We allocate you a local authority, but it is your local authority who allocates you a school. Allocation to schools is a complex and often time-consuming process. The local authority requires time to work things out and to communicate with you when school allocations are finalised. This can be within around a week, but patience is needed because it can also take much longer. You should have your school details in time to touch base with the head teacher and arrange a visit to the school before term finishes for the summer. Your local authority may also have welcome event prior to the summer break, and we would encourage you to attend this. Your local authority allocation is fixed and is based upon one of the 5 local authority preferences which you chose at the time of your application, unless you have chosen the preference waiver payment option and agreed to be placed anywhere in Scotland. If, when you receive your local authority allocation, there are exceptional, extenuating circumstances, you have 2 weeks in which you can ask us to review the placement. You can do this by emailing gtcs@gtcs.org.uk. Dissatisfaction with your placement allocation in a local authority which was one of the 5 preferences you submitted is not an exceptional circumstance. Childcare is also not considered an exceptional circumstance. You have the option to continue to the placement or to withdraw and move to the flexible route. Deferral. If there are circumstances which mean that you no longer wish to take up the placement, but instead to complete the placement in the following academic year, you can request a deferral. Deferrals can also be requested once you have started TIS if your circumstances change unexpectedly. All deferral requests must be submitted by the 30th of November. Requests for deferral are not automatically granted, and you can find out more about deferrals on our website. You can also find the policy and application form there. Withdrawal. If you decide to withdraw from the Teacher Induction Scheme prior to entering the classroom, email gtcs@gtcs.org.uk with the subject line TIS Withdrawal, stating your full name, date of birth, higher education institution, and the reason for withdrawing. Please inform your higher education institution of your decision. We will confirm your withdrawal with them before taking any action. You should also tell the local authority that you are allocated. If you choose to withdraw from TIS, you can complete your induction through the flexible route. You cannot return to TIS once you have withdrawn. Probation managers. A probation manager is a designated officer who has a deep knowledge about how to help provisionally registered teachers achieve the standard for full registration. They design learning programs and support other people who are involved in the induction process. They are in close contact with your supporter and with us. The introductory session with your probation manager outlines the requirements of your induction year. There may be a series of local authority sessions enabling face-to-face contact with other provisionally registered teachers in your area. You can find a list of local authority contacts on our website. If you don't pass your ITE programme. Through July and August, your higher education institution will confirm to GTC Scotland if you have passed your programme. You have several options if you do not complete your ITE programme before the summer. You may be required to complete a retrieval placement. When you have successfully completed that, your higher education institution will communicate that pass with us. You then have the option to join the register at that point and seek employment as a provisionally registered teacher. If you applied for TIS, the application will be automatically rolled over into the next Teacher Induction Scheme year. Therefore, you can carry on working and gaining experience in schools whilst reserving your place on the Teacher Induction Scheme. And in August, your local authority will be in touch with you to confirm an induction day ahead of school starting. Your journey through the Teacher Induction Scheme. This section of the video is relevant to ITE students who have signed up to the Teacher Induction Scheme. Access to My GTCS. By the 1st of September, you will have access to your My GTCS account. This is where you will record your progress as you work towards the standard for full registration, which is what you should use to guide all of your activity during induction. You will be responsible for keeping your profile up to date, because this is an important way in which you will evidence that you have achieved the standard for full registration. In My GTCS, you will log your development activity, including learning activities, professional discussions, where records of your supporter meetings are kept, observations, key strengths, areas for development, and development plans. My GTCS is also where, at several points in your induction period, you will receive a progress report, and where eventually you will submit a request to your reviewer, that's the head teacher, to be recommended for full registration. When you log into My GTCS, you will find a resources area which contains user guides on how to use the platform. One of your first steps should be checking that your personal details are up to date. You will also form an association with your reviewer, your supporter, and the local authority probation manager. If for any reason you don't have access to My GTCS by the 1st of September, please contact us at gtcs@gtcs.org.uk. And in the meantime, you can record your own notes, which you can paste or upload into My GTCS later. Supporters. On the Teacher Induction Scheme, you are entitled to time with a supporter. They will get to know you and will provide holistic support that you will need to go through your induction. The role of a supporter is to facilitate and signpost your professional learning, meet you every week, observe your teaching regularly, provide pastoral support to you, engage with your development plans, encourage the skill of reflection, support with your profile completion, and to liaise with colleagues in school and a local authority probation manager. Before we look at each part of the year in turn, here is an overview of the TIS year. You will complete Teaching Block 1 from August until December, and at that point you will be given a progress report. If your progress report is assessed as satisfactory, you will complete Teaching Block 2 from January until June. If at the end of your first teaching block your progress is assessed as cause for concern or unsatisfactory, you complete 3 teaching blocks in total. Teaching Block 2 will run from January to March, after which you will receive a further progress report. You will then move on to Teaching Block 3, running from April to June. In June, you will submit a request to your reviewer for a recommendation on full registration. The reviewer has 3 recommendations available to them: full registration, extension, and removal from the register. The start of the school year. When you arrive in your new school, this is the period in which to proactively learn about the policies and procedures that are in place. You can also create a personal calendar which includes key dates from the school's calendar, for example when reports are due, as well as induction dates, for example when your progress reports need to be submitted and when the local authority professional learning sessions are held. Your timetable should consist of between 18 and 18.5 hours of class contact time per week. This may vary slightly, and that will be agreed at a local level. Term 1. From August, you will start populating your provisional registration profile and creating your first development plan. This will be based on the ITE profile you created in the student portal. Discuss this with your supporter and agree the plan. You will record your development activity on MyGTCS. You record notes from meetings with your supporter in the professional discussion section. You will also record observation notes and can agree these with the fully registered teachers who observe you. You will plan and record your professional learning from local authority, school-based, or personal professional learning, reflecting on the impact this has on your practice. This regular updating of your provisional registration profile is something you will continue to do throughout the year. As a provisionally registered teacher on the Teacher Induction Scheme, you have an increased amount of non-contact time to help you do this. In October, local authorities often have a checkpoint to see how you're getting on. This helps to identify any additional support that may be required to help you reach the SFR. December. In December, you should submit a progress report for Teaching Block 1. At this point, your reviewer, the head teacher, will make a judgment about your progress towards the SFR. They have 3 outcomes available to them. Satisfactory, which means you will proceed to Teaching Block 2 in January with a revised development plan. They can highlight cause for concern on competence grounds or on grounds of service if there's been significant absence. There is also an option for unsatisfactory progress. If your reviewer judges your progress as cause for concern or unsatisfactory, you will create a second teaching block spanning from January until March, then submit a further progress report. January. In January, you will start your second teaching block of 2 if you were given a satisfactory outcome in your progress report at the end of teaching block 1. And this teaching block will run until June. If you were given a cause for concern or unsatisfactory at the end of teaching block 1, you will start the second of 3 teaching blocks. Your teaching block 2 runs from January until March, and your teaching block 3 runs from April until June. As you start a new teaching block, you will create a new development plan. You should base this on the experience that you've already gained, and by highlighting areas for development which emerged from the previous teaching block. You, your supporter, and other colleagues will have discussed what areas of your practice you need to focus on in order to evidence that you meet the SFR. Include this in any plans you make. February and March. This is often when some vacancies are advertised in local authorities for posts starting in the next year. You can apply for these, but please remember that you can only secure a permanent post after you have gained full registration. If you are completing 3 teaching blocks, then you need to submit a progress report at the end of March. Again, the reviewer will make a judgment of satisfactory, cause for concern, or unsatisfactory. April to July. Between April and July, you will continue to act on feedback, key strengths, and areas for development which have been identified to help you evidence that you meet the standard for full registration. At the end of the TIS placement year, the reviewer makes a recommendation. Available to them are the recommendation of full registration. That moves you from provisional to full registration. Extension, which can be for 60 days if it's related to competence, or if it's related to length of service, it will be equal to the days absent on health grounds. The final recommendation available to reviewers is removal of registration. The recommendation can be challenged for extensions and removals, and a GTC Scotland Fitness to Teach panel decides the final outcome. Award of full registration. We have a strategic objective to better meet user needs through our digital products and to ensure our sustainability. So, we are introducing digital certificates to our MyGTCS platform. This means that once you achieve full registration, you should be able to immediately access your certificate in the MyGTCS platform. You will appear on Search the Register with a full registration date of the 1st of July. Search the Register is the database that all employers in Scotland use to verify registration status in pre-employment checks. Induction and beyond. After completing a satisfactory induction period, you will become a fully registered teacher. Being a teacher in Scotland involves a commitment to ongoing professional development throughout your career. Therefore, as a fully registered teacher, you must take part in professional update. Engagement in the professional update process is a requirement for registration with GDC Scotland and is key to maintaining teacher professionalism. You are required to confirm your professional update every 5 years. You can find out more about Professional Update on our website. And finally, we wish you well with your induction, which is a challenging and exciting time full of new learning. Induction bridges the journey from initial teacher education to being a fully registered and employed teacher in Scotland. Teaching is intellectual and highly complex work, so induction is a time when you will extend your foundational knowledge base as well as developing your subject and pedagogical expertise. In our vision of trusted teaching, we believe that you, as provisionally registered teachers, are best placed to direct your own development and to seek the support and challenge that you require. We believe that experienced teachers who already hold the standard for full registration are central to supporting you through induction, and we rely on them to ensure that fair, informed decisions are made to award full registration. We know that teachers take their responsibilities seriously in this regard. All the best, and thank you for watching our video.